When we preserve our energy, that means we stop projecting it outside into thoughts, into trying to get external things, material things. Those things can still happen. I'm not against them. But when we stop spending energy on masturbating or watching porn or sexual fantasies or thinking about girls all the time and all this just constant energy loss that's going into our mind and being projected externally. When all that stops, this energy is going to start to unlock the natural potential that we all have. It's just common sense. Intuition's one of those gifts. Intuition gets unlocked when our energies are more balanced. They get more balanced when we stop spending it on futile things. Then the energy's not so restless. So things start to balance out. Physically, mentally, emotionally. There's some unity and harmony within our being. There's a sense of balance. When there's a sense of balance, and you can say more of a relaxation, then these more subtle things become alive. They're there now, but you see, subtle. Subtle means they're not noticed usually. They're not activated. They need our energy, if we don't waste it, to somehow activate it. We become aware of these things. Why? Because our attention isn't going out everywhere. So automatically we start to sense, you can say these powers, they start to come to life, and then we realize it. We realize it because our mind's not so busy chasing nonsense and engaging in nonsense. So then these things start to come up, these subtle feelings, insight, perception, and then the consciousness realizes, it's like, whoa, I'm on another level now. I'm seeing these things. Okay, my attention's not so stuck on gross level. So the attention's more aware of the subtle level. This is closer to who we really are. This is our real power. How do you think awareness and understanding of, you can say, the micro orbit and the subtle nerve channels and nadis in the body, how did people become aware of that? It's said that India, China, Japan, back in the day, they didn't have electricity. So people would live more in sync with this circadian rhythm. They'd get up, when the sun's coming up, they'd go lay down when the sun's going down. So they'd be laying there in bed when the sun's down, and they wouldn't go right to sleep. They would just be laying there, but everybody's quiet. They're not having parties and getting drunk and all that. So their attention would automatically start to go inside because they didn't have a restless mind. They had a very balanced life. So they weren't thinking about like trying to get a Lamborghini and a $1 million job and how they're going to get a girlfriend or boyfriend or conquer the world, all that stuff. They were simple, very simple people. And so when it was time to lay down, they just relaxed. And then they started to become aware of this inner body, this more subtle world, because that's what happens. You can call it meditation, but these people were meditating. They don't even call it meditation. Meditation's a natural state. That's what we do. We got to come up with these concepts. Only when we get so far away from our natural state, we need some concepts to bring us back. Meditation, good diet, healthy lifestyle. For these people, this was automatic. And so they would just be laying there, quiet mind, and they'd start to sense how the energy inside is moving. They'd sense like, oh, there's some, they didn't call it micro-orbit. We did. They would sense how the energy, there's a flow And it's just and there's certain centers when the energy's moving, they noticed, oh, this is some kind of center. It's like a vortex. So then later we call that a chakra or something. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. So this stuff isn't some mystical, magical thing. This should be natural when we have some inner harmony. So the benefit of intuition. See, intuition's beyond logic. See, some people, I've talked to them. If that's all you know is your mind and concepts and logic, then intuition's like, it's just another concept. They'll just turn it into a concept, or they'll start arguing about, well, how do you know it's intuition? That's still the mind and all this stuff. You say, okay, it's cool, man. I understand. Intuition's a higher level of intelligence. It doesn't use logical deductions or pros and cons to ascertain the reality of a situation. It sees everything in a matter of a moment, and then it dictates a certain inner vibration, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go this way. It's much more reliable than the logical mind. The logical mind can't understand it, though, because the intuition can be paradoxical sometimes. It doesn't care about concepts. It doesn't follow concepts. It may do something that's seemingly considered by the logical mind to be wrong in this moment, but then later it can turn out to be good. So it doesn't. It's like smoking weed for me it's like I'm allergic to it. It used to make me, you'd think I was on cocaine when I did it. It didn't relax me at all. But yet, I did it when I was from like 12 to 15 or something, like every day. And it was good. It was good for me, and it saved my life. Because, see, before then, I had a lot of problems with my nervous system, and they would give me these psychotropic drugs. You imagine? At that age, like from 7 years old to like 12, I was taking these hardcore pharmaceutical drugs, stronger than a lot of street drugs. And so it was making me, the side effects were really bad. I totally understand why people want to kill themselves. Like if you have depression or something and then they give you those, it can make like a natural kind of depression, so to speak, is better than a pharmaceutical drug-induced depression. That's like the worst kind of depression, or a restlessness, or an anxiety. Any of these things induced by synthetic drugs, it's a whole nother level. So anyway, I was like 12, and I was old enough at that point. I'm like, I'm going to get rid. I don't want to take this stuff. Like, I don't care what the doctor or anybody says. I'm not going to take it anymore. And my buddy's like, yeah, man, try this, some weed. I tried that, and I was laughing. I couldn't stop. It was great. I'm like, yeah. But then it also made me it made me really hyper and manic, and I wanted to fight. But whatever. It took me from being in this stupor, this just no energy and wanting to sleep all the time and die, to like maxing me out, maxed all my personality traits out. And I was super confident. It was a artificial confidence, but who cares? I was just happy to get out of that state. So it saved my life, really. But then I crashed when I was about 15 and a half. I thought I was going crazy. I mentioned this before, and I had to quit, and I couldn't quit, so I went to a rehab and quit. Point is, it was good for me. It was medicine. Also, this whole PMO thing and edging, that worked for me for a while, because I was trying to escape this inner imbalance that these health issues were causing me, and I needed an escape mechanism, because I just wouldn't have been able to take it otherwise. So in that moment, it was good to do. And then when it was time to transcend, I transcended it. So sometimes the point is, intuition can tell you to kind of do something, and it may not be logically the best thing to do. Now, am I saying that intuition told me to smoke weed and do PMO? It's not so much intuition. Like it's not like some higher intelligence is saying, like, go do that. I'm giving this example as a kind of an extreme illustration because sometimes we'll be in a situation and we'll be with 5 people and they all are feeling logically to do a certain thing, but intuition in you may say, if it's activated, may say, no, you know what? I'm not feeling that. I don't think that's right. And you have no logical explanation why. See, so first step, activate intuition via semen retention, healthy balanced life, diet, etc. When you start to calm these energies down, all these subtle gifts will be realized. Intuition, subtle perception, the ability to see things on a deeper level, whereas most people are just analyzing on superficial level. You can start to see deeper the motives of why somebody may say all the right things, but something realizes, wait a minute, there's something off, you know. And they may say, yeah, just do this and do that, and then I'm going to hook you up with this, and it can be a con man or something. But you'll be reading their vibration and energy, and you just won't believe them. You say, no, I'm good. Actually, I don't want this thing anymore, or whatever you were trying to get. That's one example. So you have access to your depth, and then you can see other people's depth. You can see their motives. You can just see energetically something's not matching. Their vibration's not matching with their words, so I'm gonna hold off, or I'm gonna ask some questions to verify what they're saying they're gonna do, and then usually they get tripped up. So you have this higher intelligence; it gets activated. So that's what I'm saying. Semen retention will help to awaken that intuition, and especially when you're free of edging. This is an evolutionary thing. It doesn't happen overnight usually, so I'm just giving some, inspirational things that you can look forward to if you believe me. See, I don't know. Maybe you don't believe me. All right. Have a good day.